show you how you can customize Angular material colors. So let's start. We have this Angular material theme. It's an Angular project. I assume that you already know how to install an Angular project, set up an Angular project. I'm gonna just open this project with my VS Code. Okay, here you go. So we can see it's just an Angular project without any additional things. Okay, if I go to app, we can run this project with just ngserve if you have already Angular CLI installed. So if I do ngserve, you can see the project is working. Everything is normal, probably. Okay, so now we need to also install Angular material. So in order to install Angular material, you go to the documentation and it's just ng add Angular material. So let's copy this. And this project is running. Just let's test the project. Localhost 4200. You can see this. Yeah, project is working fine. So let me also install this Angular material. Nice. So I'm gonna just remove everything here because we want to set up everything from scratch. So here Angular material is asking us if we want to proceed, of course. So okay, it's installing some packages here. Just notice that you need to choose custom because we want to be able to customize things. Typography, we want typography, and we want animations too. Okay, I assume it's almost done. We don't need to answer anything else. Okay, very good. And now if I go to this styles.scss, you can see some new things. This is at use Angular material. We use at use instead of import. It's more like optimized. You might be used to using import instead of at use, but at use, I think it's better. So it's not a deep dive, so I won't give you detailed explanation about everything, but let's just change this primary color. Okay, so we want to change this primary color. Before that, we need to see the changes. So I'm gonna go to this app, and I need to add some Angular material, probably buttons, so we can see the changes. So let's go to this Angular material documentation. Let's go to components, and let's find button. Okay. So for example, I really like to have this part. So let's go view code, and here like some buttons. Let's copy some buttons here from here. Just go back to our project. So let's copy, paste, and save, and let's run the project. Nice. Okay, it's gonna take a little bit of time. So, but if you just put everything here, it's not gonna work because we also need to import the module. So, okay, it's if you go to API, you can see you can import a mat button module in order to make this work. I go to app module, import the module for button, and just copy paste it in the imports array. Yes, and we probably have everything ready. So yes, it's compiling everything, generating everything, and yes, it's already compiled. Let's go back to the project. Here we go. We have all the buttons here. So we want to change this primary color. Okay, so well, let me show you a couple of things. So if I go to, let's just close everything. And if I open this styles.scss, you can see here we have our primary button set. So we get something from this mat defined palette here, okay, and put it in the CSS variable Angular material theme primary, and here Angular material just put this color as our primary color. Now we want to change this. So let's see where this color is coming from. If you look at here, it's a defined palette. So palettes is like a set of colors. Okay, I can show it to you where this palette is coming from. So we probably need to put a palette in this define palette function, okay? And as we can see, the palette is matte.indigo palette, okay? So let's find this indigo palette. Where is this coming from and how we can change it? Okay, if I go to node modules, and if we go to this Angular, and let's find material here. Here it is, material, core. And if I go to this theming, okay, here you can see we have palette.scss, okay? Let's put it here, palette.scss, and yeah, you can see some palettes here, yeah? Each one of these is a palette. So if you go back, you can see we are using Indigo palette. Let's see if you find this palette here in this palette folder. Yes, here it is. Now we want to use another palette instead of Indigo palette. And if you go, you see this this Indigo palette, I mean the default color is 5, probably, I think most probably 500. You can always customize the default color, but it's using 500 as the primary color for now, as the default. So if I go back, you see this is the primary color that we are using at the moment. We want to change the palette to another one, okay? So let's use another one. Which one I like the most? I don't know, it really doesn't matter. I'm gonna use red palettes maybe. Okay, let's go back, and instead of Indigo, let's choose red palette here. Nice. If I save it and if I go back, you see our primary is changed now, and it turned into this red palette, probably 500. Okay, very nice. So now we know so we can do the same thing with this accent and with warning. We can choose another palette. But what if somebody says, I don't want to choose one of these like default palettes, I want to use another one. So in this case, there is an quite easy way. So I'm going to show you Angular material palette generator, you see. And if I go to this website, it's a kind of simple thing, but it's very useful. I really like it because you can just choose a color. Let's choose a color for our new palette here. I don't know which one is more beautiful. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to choose this one. It generates a palette for me. This is 3FB557, and as you can see, it's going to be the default one. It's this one, right? So I want to choose copy everything from here. So if I go to this Angular JS2 material, then you can see this palette. You can just copy everything, or you can use this, honestly. Yeah, copy it. So let's go back to our project. Let's go back to the styles. So probably you can create another file and keep everything separate and clean. I just want to demonstrate that it's going to work. So you see our palette is here. Okay, and I'm just going to change the name. Maybe awesome palette. Okay, and if I just copy paste this awesome palette and put it instead of red palette. Okay, and save it. Okay, we are getting an error. Why? Because we are trying to get this awesome palette from material package, but it's not in material package, it's just right here. So I'm gonna just remove this matte dot, and it's gonna fix this problem. You see, no error. Let's go back to the project and see what's happening there. So if I go, oh, you see, now we have a new color. Great.